There's a lot to appreciate in nature. The way the colors of flowers pop out of the green that surrounds them, the shapes and sizes of certain plants, and the overall beauty of the twisting and turning of these shapes make it so that there's always something to pique your interest. And then there's the other side of the coin, things that do not belong and sometimes cause harm. But yet, in my eyes, there's a certain wonder in looking at these pictures. It's as if the landscape is telling me a story of sorts. We can look outside of nature and see that in our society, humans have their own form of creativity. It is in the structures that have been built to withstand the elements and provide us the shelter as it welcomes us, and perhaps in the structures that aren't. The spray paint on the side of the walls that are debated on whether or not that these are pieces of art. Every picture evokes a feeling of calm, despair, or perhaps a little mystery. Everywhere I look, there are questions like who inspired this event or creation? Or what is the thought behind this? Or perhaps whose idea was it to paint the truck red? And I'd like to think this process of thought is something in philosophy called aesthetics. I hear this word more often now, but maybe that's because I say it in my head when I see something visually pleasing. Just look at the band called Four of Spades. Just look at that aesthetic. So what does the word aesthetic mean to me? I can give you the dictionary's definition. Okay, I'm using this word correctly. That would have been embarrassing. But what does it mean to me? Well, what does art mean? Many philosophers have debated on that question. And by many, I mean many. And even after a few centuries have gone by, a definite answer is yet to come by and hit us in the face. But to keep things simple, let's start with Daddy Big Balls Plato. Yeah, that's how long it's been. Art is imitation, he said. Art imitates the objects and events of ordinary life. In other words, a work of art is a copy of a copy of a form. Similarly, Vasari, in his Lives of the Painters, said that painting is just the imitation of all the living things of nature, with their colors and designs just as they are in nature. Artists are copycats. And to be honest, that's not wrong. That's how I was. And really, no idea is original. Every human thought that could be conceived probably already has. What makes an artist, as how I see it, is his ability to communicate those ideas on medium, three-dimensional or two-dimensional. But wait, are we going to settle for art as an imitation? Haha, don't worry. It's a well-dated definition. As I said, art is a form of communication. It is also a form of expression. And it could just be a form that elicits an aesthetic response. Going back, I often ask myself questions about imagery that I come across either on canvas or in real life. If not about the origin of it, the emotions or thoughts that I receive from it. And I always find myself appreciating imagery. That doesn't necessarily mean that I can't find things ugly. It just means that I respect all forms of art. I like what Marshall McLuhan says about the topic. Despite the slightly cynical tone, the quote is forgiving in what art means. It goes a little something like this. Art is anything you can get away with. The concept of aesthetics can be applied to anything. But what about literature? I heard that place has identity crises as well.